Hello there, one and all, and welcome to episode 503 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, live on YouTube, or should I say, undead on YouTube? Because yes, we have made it to yet another Halloween video. I only do these Halloween videos because of you. Sorry, I'm still battling this cold, but it is on its way out. I've never really celebrated. Do we say celebrate Halloween? Do we call it celebrating? I've never marked Halloween in any way, but I think 2 years ago when I did a Halloween video, it got such a response that I thought, okay, clearly there is a need for this out there. And a few of you have been in touch to say that the Halloween video is actually your favorite video of the year. So there go all of my carefully considered, erudite, intellectual discourses on perfume. All you want is a Halloween video. Anyway, a Halloween video is what you're getting. But we should look at a few comments because there are already quite a few that have come in. The first one goes to Abazar, who says, congratulations on the very well-deserved 25,000 subscribers. Thank you very, very much indeed. That's very kind. Alex is here as well, saying happy Halloween, everyone. Maudlin says, this is going to be good. Spaced Out says, is that a young Mr. Persolaise on the thumbnail? It's an artificially intelligently induced Mr. Persolaise on the thumbnail. Natasha says, I actually set an alarm for this so I don't miss it. Brilliant. Okay. Omar says, if there isn't a Serge Lutens on the list, we will riot. Well, I predict a riot, maybe. Joseph says, happy Friday. I love a Halloween list, says Sharon. Angeline is here as well, saying, hello. You're all very, very welcome. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do consider doing so. If you would like to find out how you can support my work, you should be able to see a link to my Ko-fi page in the video description below. And regardless of whether you're watching live or you're watching the recording, please feel free to leave a comment or a question. I will usually get around to them fairly quickly. Anyway, Halloween, which means we need to do this. Hang on, I just need to come out of this screen for a second so I can do this. We have to do the Halloween video like this, right? This is going to turn into a tradition now. So a top 10, we do like a good list on this channel, and you know that I like to give them oh, boo, says Gavin. Yes, thank you for the sound effects. I hope you noticed my friend Cyril here, who was given to me quite some time ago by some pupils, and I was told that it is a he, and his name is Cyril. Cyril has been with me ever since he was gifted to me by these. You have a very nice skull, personally, says Joseph. Thank you very much. Engine says, hello, my first time in live stream or Engin, hoping some Uncle Serge in the list. Anyway, I'm not going to be able to concentrate, am I? Yes, so the theme for today is perfumes that in some way convey a sense of darkness. Apparently, one of the reasons why we have Halloween when we have it, it's obviously all to do with All Saints' Day, All Souls' Day, All Hallows' Eve, very, very important day in many parts of the world, the 1st of November, the day after Halloween. And I think we now believe that this is all to do with rituals connected to days becoming shorter. Apparently, we're sort of, what is it? We're either halfway through the dark period or we're at the start of the dark period or something like that. Surely it must be the start of the truly dark period, right? Are you naming horror films for the perfume, says Gavin. Now, see, that is a genius idea, but I'm going to say I think you lot need to do that because my knowledge of horror films is pretty poor. If there is one genre of films that I don't have a lot of time for, it's horror films. I will watch anything else, as you know, but a film that is just a sort of pure out-and-out horror. I love psychological horror movies. So for me, Silence of the Lambs or The Exorcist are amazing horror films. But slasher movie, and so that is your job. You with these 10 plus 1, we always have a plus 1, right? An outlier. With these 10 plus 1 perfumes, you are going to have to name some horror films, and I will see which of the ones you suggest I like the most. What about Don't Look Now? Oh, Don't Look Now, amazing. I actually got a chance to see Don't Look Now at the cinema a few months ago because it was reissued. No, I mean see, to me that those sorts of films like Silence of the Lambs like Don't Look Now, like The Exorcist, they transcend genres. So yes, I mean that is genius. I can't handle paranormal horror, says, is it ALO? Takes me 3 weeks to recover every time. Gender Goblin says Kill List. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. There are like 20 Saw films, so just go from there. See, I haven't seen those either. Everyone is raving over The Substance at the moment. I haven't seen it. I'm a bit chicken, says Natasha. Yes, they are raving about The Substance, but I've sort of read a bit about it and I thought, oh, this just sounds like it turns into a bit of a silly slasher film. I don't know. Anyway, Dark Perfumes. We need to get going. The themes are always very, very loose, as you know. So don't kind of shoot the messenger if you decide that you don't agree with some of these. But I thought let's start with the one that is the most on the nail, on the nose. From Akro, it is the one called Dark. Okay, this was, I think, part of Akro's original lineup. It was released in 2018. Of course, this is composed by Olivier Cresp, as are all of the perfumes in that brand, because he co-founded it with his daughter. And Dark actually was his attempt to return to gourmand territory. As you know, as many of you will be aware, he's called the king of gourmand scents. May have something to do with the fact that he created Angel for Thierry Mugler. Gavin says Suspiro. Fine, sounds good. I haven't seen it. Why that film? Give me like a sort of one. You have to back up. Okay, this is the teacher in me now. You have to give a reason for your answer. And give me a sort of one sentence justification for why it has to be that film. Oh, L.A. Jackson says Suspiro, yes. Okay, let us have the significance. It's very intelligent, says Gavin. Okay, let's go with it. Partial credit, Gavin says. I know, just partial credit. So, Dark. Dark is called Dark because it references dark chocolate. It's a very, very, very nicely done dark chocolate scent. You're all agreeing with the Suspiria or Suspiria. What's it called? Maybe I need to see this. Maybe this is going to be my homework, to watch these horror films. Suspiria, not Suspiria. Oh, Suspiria. We can't turn this into debating movie titles. Is Mulholland Drive a horror movie? Says Space Stat. Well, on the basis that it completely freaked the proverbial out of me, yes, it's a horror movie. I think we can go with Mulholland Drive as being on here. Which one would be Mulholland Drive? Oh, I think I know which one will be Mulholland Drive. Mulholland Drive is a pretty messed up film. I mean, very, very compelling. Anyway. Actually, maybe not anyway. Maybe we just throw decorum to the wind for this video and just have a lot of fun. This is a very, very, very well judged dark chocolate note. A lot of you will be aware that Cresp returned to the gourmand structure or the gourmand genre in his brand when he made Bake. But that was, I suppose, maybe a little bit more traditionally gourmand. That was like a fantastic lemon meringue tart, lemon drizzle cake type concoction. This is maybe a bit boozier, maybe a little bit less sweet, maybe a little bit more bitter. The dark chocolate, I suppose, is bringing the bitterness in than you might expect from a gourmand. But it's so nicely done. I think the thing that makes Olivier Cresp particularly good at what he does, and he is a genius perfumer, he's one of the best perfumers we've ever had, is that he never, ever, ever neglects the connection between the scent and the skin. So he doesn't just devote a lot of time to creating an interesting, novel, arresting accord. He then always ensures that there is enough in the perfume to make it wearable, to make it interesting and enjoyable on skin, but also to connect it to the wearer. So it doesn't feel like the perfume is wearing the person. It's the person wearing the perfume. I think it works really, really well. It reminds me as well of Mathilde Laurent's L'Heure Défendue for Cartier, which is, again, another really hyper-real, photo-real evocation of chocolate liqueurs. This has got a patchouli note in it, definitely something woody, leathery going on in there. But the top has had a lot of attention paid to it as well, because there's something soaring about it. I don't know whether it's a really, really well-judged citrus note. It could even be a mandarin. And I guess it's the contrast between that and the dark chocolate that emphasizes the chocolatiness of it. It's very, very, very black, very dark, very nocturnal, very dimly lit, very Moorish, very seductive and enticing. You're still talking about films. Mariam says Nosferatu from 1922 is featured in the Vatican movie recommendation list, but I have not seen it yet. Is it? What's the Vatican movie recommendation list? Engin says, starting dark fragrances list with a gourmand. Interesting. Show us the smoke and leathers and flesh. Well, maybe you might be surprised with some of these. I don't know. Alex says, for Twin Peaks, there must be a note of cherry cake. Yes, you're right. And some damn fine coffee, right? Was it damn fine coffee that was in Twin Peaks, or am I getting mixed up? Alvaro says, yay, I made it to the live, even if a little late. Never mind. Better late than never, right? I loved The Nun. Such good jump scares, says Gavin. See, I haven't seen that. Omar says, Crespes Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé is also a decent boozy chocolate iris. Okay. And Maudlin says, yes, damn fine coffee. That was Agent Cooper, right? I watched every single episode of Twin Peaks. Don't ask me what happened at the end. And then I remember I shouldn't make the mistake that I made with a good friend of mine decades ago, because she was saving up the episodes for she taped them or something. And then at the very end, I sort of said, who knew that the killer would turn out to be? And she gave me this look. And I think to this day, she hasn't really forgiven me. Anyway, we need to move on. What's next on the list? Next, I will do this one purely because I don't have a proper bottle for it. Not that this in any way diminishes the scent. In fact, I particularly, it's one of my sort of more favorite ones on this list. From 2019, composed by Marc-Antoine Corticchiato. So you know what this is going to be. From Parfum d'Empire, this is Immortelle Corse, Corsican Immortelle. It's just such a gorgeous Immortelle scent. I nearly put Dior's Eau Noire on this list, but then I thought it's kind of the Immortelle thing is clearly I associate Immortelle with darkness. So I thought maybe better sort of tone it down on the Immortelle. Right. So what film is this? Is there a horror film set in Corsica? You're allowed to make it as literal as that. I was so addicted to Twin Peaks, says Alex. I know, and oh, it's all coming back to me now. Sherilyn Fenn. Whatever happened to her? She was in the Of Mice and Men film, wasn't she? And then didn't seem to do very much after that. Anyway, Immortelle Corse. The problem with these lists is that you end up reverting to the same adjectives. Because, again, this is dark, mysterious, heavy, nocturnal, quite vampiric. We did vampire perfumes last year, didn't we? The Mad Men episode, says Mariam, the Mad Men episode, guy walks into advertising agency, is also a good Halloween watch. I've never seen Mad Men. I've been told that I would love it. See, I don't watch a huge amount of TV. People are telling me to watch Rivals as well now, the Julie Cooper adaptation. I haven't seen it. I really very, very rarely watch television. Spaced Out says Idole de Lubin could be a Halloween scent. Yes, absolutely. In fact, it may even have been on a Halloween list a couple of years ago. That old bottle is genius and scary looking. Very true. Gender Goblin says the Immortelle scent is Interview with a Vampire. That is a genius suggestion because, yes, absolutely. Back when Tom Cruise was interesting. No, actually, he is still interesting, but now he's interesting in a bad way, right? I think. No, completely. This is all of those. This perfume is all of those Baroque candlelit goblets and velvet and heavy drapery interiors of that movie. That was a good film. That was directed by Neil Jordan, wasn't it? I enjoyed that film. And I enjoyed the book, but then I couldn't get on with the sequels. I remember trying The Vampire Lestat and just giving up. Gender Goblin says exactly, yes, fantastic suggestion. So this is good. Why? I don't need to do this work. You can just do the work for me. We have 2 movie recommendations here as well. Sounds very Jane Eyre, says Angeline. Well, I suppose it kind of is. And Jane Eyre has horror elements to it as well, does it not? Yeah. So you get in this perfume a really, really nicely done Immortelle note, but maybe not too heavy on the kind of curry aspects of it. So it's got that sort of honeyed mimosa feel. It's got the licorice aspect. It's a little bit green, but it also feels a little bit resinous, somehow vanillic, and also very, very believably, convincingly windswept and outdoorsy. And I've never been to New Orleans, but I seem to remember that isn't a lot of Interview with the Vampire set in New Orleans. You know, it's got that kind of Creole vibe to it. This feels like that sort of landscape. Okay, so you've got 2 out of 2. You've done very well with those 2. You need to keep it up. You need to suggest really, really good ones. I approve of those 2 choices wholeheartedly. Okay, what about this? Sherilyn Fenn had such style in Twin Peaks. Yes, she absolutely did. And yes, it's in New Orleans, says Alex. Thank you very much. Okay, third one. This is from 2006, which I think makes it, no, not quite the oldest scent on the list, but nearly. It's a very, very contemporary sort of list, very 21st century sort of list. As you know, wherever possible, I try to make sure that the scents on the list are still available, not discontinued. Anyway, from 2006, composed by the legend that is Nathalie Lorson. This is Lalique's Encre Noire. Oh, I love how that looks in this black and white, like, you know, black ink. Raphael says, yes, the damp, misty, weeping willow vibe is given from the Immortelle. Okay. Yes to Encre Noire, says Omar. Come on, what movie is this? What movie would Encre Noire be? Oh, God, how wonderful, says Alex. I love the fact that you get excited with all of these. Encre Noire. Romulus, says Maria. I haven't seen it. Which one's Romulus? Tell me a bit more about Romulus. Uniroll pen vibes, says Engin. Okay, if you say so. Now this, again, a lot of you will know, is an extremely well done, beautifully executed. Romulus is the latest Alien, says Gavin. See, I thought it was. Does that count as a horror film then? Sci-fi horror. I mean, I suppose that is that a subgenre, sci-fi horror? I haven't seen it, so I can't say. But if you would like to have Alien or its sequel, Aliens, for Encre Noire, I'll let you have that because there is something grimy and yet industrial and metallic about Encre Noire. There's something metallic about ink anyway, right? And I think that's been captured very well here by Lorson, but it's also because it's in many ways a kind of solid vetiver scent as well. It's essentially lots of vetiver materials grounded in a huge dose of musks. I've lost my train of thought. Basically, I think what I was trying to say is it's got the darkness, it's got the kind of evil vibe, but it's also got this metallic edge, which is why I will let you have it for Alien, because Alien is a really kind of grotty, oily, greasy, scary, dimly lit sort of film, isn't it? Dushan says, Amouage Memoir Woman is my #1 Halloween scent. You can have that one then. Tell us why, though. Tell us why. Angeline says, De Profundis should be on this list. Even the Graziel bottle is all dark and heavy gloom. Engin says, if you tried to eat pen ink in childhood, as I do, you tasted Encre Noire. Very true, very true. I think we all sort of, those of us who used to use fountain pens, you know, you kind of got them, you got the ink on your fingers, didn't you? The Ninth Gate, Johnny Depp hunting down a cult ink engraving, says Gender Goblin. That was a pretty poor film, though, wasn't it? I seem to remember watching that one, wasn't it? I mean, apologies if you enjoyed it, but I seem to remember thinking it was quite shocking, that film. Wasn't it, like, really bad? Mira agrees with your Memoir Woman choice. Okay, so we're going with Alien for Encre Noire. Still the best version of this scent. They've done a few flankers. There was an Encre Noire Sport. I think there was an extreme one. And was it this year that we got Encre Indigo, which was actually quite decent? Maybe it was last year. I can't remember now. The Shining. Ooh, we've got to have one for The Shining. That is a scary film. Although I'm not sure it's aged very well. That one as well, not that long ago, I managed to catch at a special screening at the cinema. We'll see. We'll see if one fits The Shining. Blair Witch still terrifies, says L.A. Jackson. I remember quite enjoying Blair Witch Project. Again, that was one I managed to catch at the cinema. Okay, next we go all the way to, well, according to what I found out, it said 2014, but I wonder if this scent is actually a little bit older. Maybe some of you will be able to tell me. So this is from Aesop, their very first perfume, Marrakech Intense. You might be able to make out here that this is the EDT. But the story behind Marrakech Intense is a little bit hard to trace now because I think it may first have come out as an oil, then I think they released it as an EDP. I don't know if that EDP is still around. Anyway, this is the EDT, my favorite version of it, currently credited to Barnabé Fillon, but I'm not sure if it was originally made by him. I don't know. Somebody out there, enlighten us, please. Gender says, The Mummy for Marrakech Intense. Which one? What do you mean? The Rachel Weisz, Brendan Fraser film? Was that a horror film? That was like an Indiana Jonesy sort of. I'll let you have it though, because it was a fun movie. But was it a horror film? Anyway, Marrakech Intense. I think Marrakech Intense. I wore it again the other day. It's just one of the best kind of spices in a Middle Eastern or North African souk type perfumes. Not the terrible Tom Cruise version, though, says Gavin. Oh, I'd forgotten about that. I haven't even seen that. No. We need to do Rachel Weisz, Brendan Fraser. Definitely. No. I mean, we can even pretend the Tom Cruise version never existed. Only Lovers Left Alive with Tilda Swinton. I've missed that one. That was with Tilda Swinton and Tom Hiddleston, I seem to remember. Anyway, Marrakech Intense. Just beautifully judged. Nutmeg, cinnamon, cloves, doesn't try too hard, entices you. You've got this the spice seller enticing you into their spicy lair, and suddenly the sky takes on a golden hue. The dusk is full of promise, but also has got something threatening about it, and it does also genuinely take me back to Marrakech, a place I would very happily revisit any day. The Jama Al Fana, isn't that called the Square of the Dead? Where you get some of the best street food I've ever had in my life, and the atmosphere is just extraordinary as long as you dodge the snakes that sometimes get away from the snake charmers. Will there be a Guillermo del Toro film, says Maudlin? I'll let you have Pan's Labyrinth as a horror film if you want to link Pan's Labyrinth to one of these. We will have to decide as we go along. Smells a little bit like Arabic coffee, but spicier and woodier, says Omar. I completely agree. I agree with you. It's definitely got that kind of Arabic coffee feel to it as well. And maybe an inclusion of a kind of cardamom-y note is what makes us think of that as well. But it's really nicely done. One of the best of those sorts of, hit me with your spices type perfumes. Good for Dune, if we ever do another Dune list, I suppose. Gavin says The Orphanage was a really dark film for me. As in the... No, so there was a Spanish film, wasn't there? And then didn't they remake it in an English language version called The Others with Nicole Kidman? Or have I completely made that wrong? I do remember a Spanish film called El Orfanato. Was that the one where then it turned into... Gavin says the Spanish film, yeah. No, The Others is a different story, says Gavin. Okay. All I remember from The Others is Nicole Kidman, for me, being really annoying, going around in every scene going, children! And after a while, I just thought, just leave her. So she gets locked in a... No, The Others... Anyway, I did watch El Orfanato, and I seem to remember enjoying it, but I can't remember anymore. Plant Love Italy says El Orfanato was different from The Others. Yes, okay, thank you very much. Hereditary was absolutely unnerving, says Ilias. I haven't seen it. Angeline says, that just reminded me of the laundry one, the Catholic something, can't recall the title. We've got to have Exorcist, says Power Connection. We do have got... Okay, we do have got to have Exorcist. Exorcist will be the penultimate one on the list. And so, how are we doing so far? We've done 4. We've got movies for all of them. So let me see if I can remember now. Well, we'll have to do. I'll have to, if I can remember, I'll have to type the movies out in the blog post for it. Maybe somebody type the movies as we're going along. So this was oh, my brain. This was The Mummy. Immortelle Corse was Interview with the Vampire. The Lalique was Alien, and the Akro. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. I can't even remember what the Akro was now. Let us go to number 5, and then we'll be halfway through. Number 5. What are you going to come up with for this one? So this is from 2008, credited to a Sylvie Jourdain. It is from Histoires De Parfums, 1740, the one that apparently was inspired by the Marquis de Sade. And we're back in Immortelle territory, as I said. The first one was Suspiria. Thank you very much, Mortland. Yes, I knew it was one that I hadn't seen. Okay, thank you. This is, you can see that Persolaise likes this one, because this is not my only bottle of this one. It's, in many ways, it's a beautiful leather scent, but it isn't just about the leathers, as the bottle very helpfully tells you. So it's got top notes of bergamot, davana, and then patchouli, coriander, and cardamom in the heart, and then in the base, cedar, labdanum, leather, vanilla, and immortelle. So this is definitely Nosferatu. Mr. C says Nosferatu is zoologist's bat, in my opinion. Well, we haven't got bat on the list, so should we do Nosferatu for this one? And I think I would agree with Nosferatu for this one as well. This is high German expressionism, isn't it? This is crazy angles, high staircases, weird gradients, you know, Escher drawings come to life, forced perspective. It's really, really gothic, high camp, operatic drama. You know, kind of makes you feel like you sort of need to be going like this all the time. Very, very dark and seductive, says Alex. Absolutely. Raucous Retread says, oh no, I have a meeting in 5 minutes. I love you when you do these. Morning all from Chicago. You need to do work. The recording will be here for you. Do the meeting. Concentrate on the meeting. We'll have lots of fun without you. It's fine. Kelly says Antichrist from Lars von Trier and Melancholia, scary in a different way. I haven't seen those ones. I kind of lost patience with von Trier a little while ago. I haven't seen a von Trier movie for the longest time. Maybe I need to revisit some of them. Let's match fragrances with horror movie characters, says Engin. Yes, maybe one day. Anyway, this one is it is very vampiric as well. It's very, very suave, very sophisticated, but also extremely dramatic, and full of tension. I think it's a perfume that feels quite taut, quite tightly wound in a way. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Did you switch off after Nymphomaniac? No, I didn't even get to Nymphomaniac, asks Gavin. I didn't even get there. I switched off a long time ago. I may have switched off after the Bjork one. Yeah. I don't know, this kind of misogynistic streak that's always there in von Trier. I just had enough, I think, after the Bjork one. What about the latest Lanthimos one, Kinds of Kindness? Disturbing, says Ilias. Yeah, Yorgos Lanthimos is another one. I mean, I've seen a couple of his films, but I didn't watch. What's the one that got all the acclaim not that long ago? What was it called? Pure, not Pure Things, but Mr. C. Still waiting for the Fig top 10, Mr. Persolaise. That's very, very kind. Thank you. That Fig idea of yours has stayed with me. I need to give it some proper thought. I will come back to it. I will come back to it at some point. I promise. Poor Things. Thank you. Yeah, I haven't seen that one either. I probably will get around to watching it at one point. Anyway, we are halfway through our Halloween 2024 list, perfumes that somehow convey a sense of darkness. Excuse me. And I think at this point, Poor Things is amazing, says Ronnie Eggyurk. Okay, I will watch it. I will watch it, but I've missed it at the cinema now already. This is a good time for us to do our outlier. This is a 2024 release. Now, why is it an outlier? It's an outlier because it's a limited edition, and from what I have been told, there aren't very many bottles of it left now. But we also haven't talked about it. I've interviewed its makers on this channel not that long ago. So it's the new oud flanker of Vanille Havane from Les Indemodables, one of my favorite brands, as you know. As I say, limited edition, I think limited to a global supply of only 500 bottles. Last time I checked at the UK stockist at Saint-Celier, or Saint-Celier, there were only 2 bottles left. Now, this is not a cheap perfume. It retails in the UK at over £400. If you want to get some sense of why the people behind the brand reckon it should cost that much, if you want to see for yourselves whether you're convinced by their argument and their reasoning, search for the interview that I did with them not that long ago. I think it was within within the last 2 months, you know, maybe about 6 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago or so. I do have to say that if you want an oud, I mean, this is me kind of giving you a capsule review here because I haven't actually reviewed this yet. If you want, and you need to think of a film for this one for me, by the way. I know many of you haven't had a chance to try it. Maybe this could be Don't Look Now, because there's something quite ancient about it, and there is something scary about it, and yet also something very, very quintessentially European about it. And I think that's what Don't Look Now captures. Don't Look Now captures the real scary, seedy side of Venice, as well as making Venice appear beautiful as it should. And there is a lot of high drama and high emotion in this perfume, as there is in Don't Look Now. So let's say Don't Look Now. But what I was going to say is, if you are looking for an oud inflected scent of this sort of quality, I would very, very strongly advise you to try this one, because I think from the vast majority of brands out there, you would probably have to pay 1.5 times, if not double, what you'd pay for this one. And I know that money is a personal matter, and you know, we each have to cut our own cloth according to how we live, etc., etc. And one person's peanuts is another person's mega fortune or mortgage payment or whatever. And 400 plus pounds, I think it's 420, is a lot of money. But if you look at the better quality oud scents, for instance, from Frederic Malle, I think 50 mils of the night is now something in the region of £800. There are 2 really expensive Frederic Malle oud scents, aren't there? I think the night certainly is one of them, and maybe is it the Dawn that's the other crazy expensive one, or maybe it's Hope. There are also some that are in their more normal £300 for 100 mil bracket. Gavin says, I was thinking American Psycho for this. I think Patrick Bateman would enjoy telling people about it. That's a good one. That's a good one. But let's go for Don't Look Now, because at the moment I'm enjoying that kind of creepy Gothic Venice image. But American Psycho, oh, maybe we could do American Psycho for the very, very last one. Although it may not go down so well with if the people behind the brand watch it. I don't know. The Dawn and the Moon, says Sharon, are the Night. Am I getting my Arabic names mixed up? The Night was the original one, still my favorite. This reminds me a lot of the Night, but where the Night was like Portrait of a Lady with oud, this is the kind of tobacco vanilla feel of Vanille Havane with oud. It is very nicely done, and I'm enjoying smelling it and I've been enjoying wearing it. But obviously, I have to be careful because I've just got this 10 mil, 10 or 15 mil sample. But there you go. So that's our outlier. It is a very, very nicely done piece of work, composed, of course, by Monsieur Antoine Lee. Anyway, we need to get on with our list. So number 6 officially on the list, if you like, because this was our outlier. For that, we need to go to, and Persolaise has just shown that he can't add up. Where have my numbers gone skew if here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's fine. So what have I done? 1, 2, 3, What on earth have I done with the numbering here? Oh, I missed one out. I missed one out. Okay, that's fine. That explains that one then. Okay, so from 2019, this I wonder if is going to be a little bit of a controversial choice. Kurkdjian, yeah, I've just seen what you've written, Kurkdjian. The night is yours from Selfridges for the very competitive price of £1,285. Okay, that is for the 100 mils. I mean, I'm not sort of saying that that's cheap, but I'm just sort of comparing like with like, because the Les Indemodables is 50 mils. But yes, you know, nearly £1,300 for 100 mils of perfume. Let's not get bogged down with price here. This is maybe a slightly controversial choice. This is from Frederic Malle, and it came into my mind as I was thinking of darkness. So this is the recent Rose and Leather, or Rose et Cuir, from Jean-Claude Elena. Movie for this one, please. It was a very, very divisive scent when it was released, with a few people actually commenting, saying that they think it's not a very well-made perfume. I find it interesting because I think it's a case of Elena trying to do something a bit different with perfume structure. Bram Stoker's Dracula, says Alex Desmond. For this one, okay, yeah, we'll go with that because I know that movie very well. I do like that film. I do enjoy that movie. Let's go with Bram Stoker's Dracula. The Talented Mr. Ripley, says Kelly. How is that a horror film? Which version of Talented Mr. Ripley have you watched that you're going to try and tell us that's a horror film? I'm feeling more Herzog's Dracula, says Car Cruise. I haven't seen that one. Let's go with Bram Stoker's Dracula. Insert your own favorite Dracula film. Now, what did I mean when I talked about the structure? It's almost as though with this one, Jean-Claude Elena wondered if he could have two notes running in parallel, or two facets, two aspects running in parallel along the entire length of the development of the scent, and kind of never let them meet. So you've got this weird rose note. Apparently there is no rose in this perfume. It's actually a lot more geranium-y, minty than it is rosy. And then a leather note that seems to be a lot more about vetiver and is quite kind of stridently angry isobutyl quinoline. So I like the Bram Stoker's Dracula comparison there, because it's got the sort of earthiness and the funkiness with which that Dracula character is portrayed in that film, but also I guess the beauty of those Victorian interiors and the lush costumes, award-winning costumes, and the amazing colors, you know, the really, really vivid colors. And I suppose it is a perfume of two worlds. It is a perfume of the sacred and the profane. I find that it veers more towards darkness, which is why I put it on this list. Plant Love Italy says, Ripley, the Netflix series with Andrew Scott is very good, but so sinister because it's shot in black and white, and he is excellent in it as the villain. See, I don't even have Netflix. I haven't seen that, although I have heard good things about it, and Andrew Scott can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned. Alex says, the beauty and the monster, like Mina and Dracula. Yes, absolutely. Karamullah says, what Aesop is it? It's the very first one. It's Marrakech Intense, and I've got the EDT here. Clockwork Orange is another movie to watch, says JP. Yes, that is a superb film. I'm not sure there's anything milky here, or milky enough to go with Clockwork Orange. But you see that? I don't know whether is that a horror film? I mean, it's got horrific elements to it for sure. Angel Heart with De Niro, says Ilias. I haven't seen that. And Carol says Netflix's Ripley featured Santa Maria Novello, though. Did it? Interesting. I was quite intrigued by this one. Okay, we have got 4 left to do, which means we need to get a move on. And now my numbering is back in order. So I think next we should go to... Now, one of you, I was amazed, actually predicted this. I think I featured it in a list not very long ago at all. And I tried to mix things up a bit, as you know, but I thought, oh, well, it's so perfect for this list. And I have a feeling you're going to be coming up with some good movie suggestions with this one. So from 2006, by the one and only Annick Menardo, who I think we can gather is Gavin's favourite perfumer. This is Labo's Patchouli 24. It's got to be on here. I mean, this is genius. Come on now. Impress me with your movie suggestions. What's Patchouli 24 going to be? I think it's got to be something werewolfy, hasn't it? Sleepy Hollow, says Dahlia. Okay, I like that. The Tim Burton film. Scream, says Maudlin. No, please. I can't stand that movie. I actually watched it twice because I thought I didn't get the fuss that everybody was making about it. You featured Patchouli 24 on multiple lists, I think. I think that must mean I like it. Gavin says, this is a creosotal hut in the woods type horror film. Okay, so shall we say Blair Witch Project for this one? I think we need to, yes, let's do Blair Witch. Let's do Blair Witch, because I wonder if Sleepy Hollow might be good. Oh, we're only down to 3 now. Oh, gosh, the pressure, the pressure. Let's do Blair Witch for this one. Alex says that's perfect. I have no idea which one is perfect for anymore. I'm going with Blair Witch. This is, today we're calling it the Blair Witch perfume, but most of the time I actually kind of see it as a very sci-fi leather type composition. But today, let's go with the creosote. Let's go with the bonfire. Let's go with the conflagrations in the woods. Definitely the witch, says Car Cruise. Why has the witch got to be written the witch? Another film with which I am not overly familiar, but I now feel I need to watch the witch. The witch was good, says Dahlia. What the heck is this movie? But I'm also fine with Blair Witch, says Alex. Caramela says Interview with the Vampire. We've done Interview. Interview was Immortelle. This is very, 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 very seductive. Very, very black. Really, really dark. It's like the blackest, most compelling, most lip-smacking sort of leather. Maudlin says that's the one with Anya Taylor-Joy. Oh, that witch, where she's the little girl who may or may not be a witch. That was a good movie, but why was that how it was written? Was it written the witch? I just always thought of it as the witch. That was good. That was really, really good. Really creepy. Really, really creepy. Very, very unsettling. Oh yeah, if you mean that one. Well, I'll go with Blair Witch. You can have the witch, because that was all very, very outdoorsy and sort of set in the past, and it was all woods and fields and things like that. Take your pick. We'll do Blair Witch, but Kelly Luck says, yeah, let's call this one the Blair Witch and all be happy. I like it. I think you should take up a career in diplomacy if you have not already done so. This Halloween chat is so funny, says JP. Well, I'm glad somebody's getting something coherent out of it. The witch was very unsettling indeed, says K. Yes, it was. You're absolutely right. Annick Menardo. If anybody can do anything to try and get Annick Menardo to do an interview on this channel, she is... I've yet to meet her. I've never, ever met her. It would be amazing to meet her. Okay, we have 3 left to do. Things are getting very, very, very dark and mysterious now. And we go to the oldest scent on the list, which feels funny to say in a way, because in some ways it's also the youngest brand on the list, a brand that will be celebrating its 20th anniversary next year. And this was their very first release. And I think this is probably one of, if not the first iteration bottle of it, from 2005, from the incomparable Andy Tower. This is Le Maroc pour Elle. Of course, Tower perfumes don't come in this sort of bottle anymore. They come in his signature pentagonal bottles. I love this scent. I mean, I know we've had Marrakech already. This is the kind of second reference to Morocco. And look at, you can't see here very well. Actually, should we just come out of Halloween mode for a sec? Because you need to see the color that this has become. Look at this. Look at this. This is a Halloween monster in itself, the color of this juice. Okay, let's go back. Let's maintain this. Oh no, wrong one. We don't want to change that. We want to change this. Concentrate Persolaise. Here we go. Okay. OMG, says Power Connection. Wow, says Alex. Ooh, nice, says Maudlin. The Blob, says FRD. Okay, I was hoping some. Can you please give me movie suggestions other than The Blob for this one? Ilyas says it is fun. It's 3 a.m. in Melbourne and I'm being entertained. Gosh. Well, I hope you had a good night's sleep before you woke up, or you're about to go to sleep. One of my favorites, says Gender Goblin, Maroc pour Elle, Hippie Rose, Jasmine Amber. This is like a perfume mummy. Rosemary's Baby, says Power Connection. I like it. Let's do Rosemary's Baby. That's a very, very effective film as well, isn't it? So let's pop that on here. This is, I mean, we're kind of talking about it as though it's a really scary scent. And I suppose in some ways it is a little bit scary, but it is also a truly, truly beautiful jasmine patchouli combo. Really, really nicely done. Top note of citruses, Andy's kind of signature vanillic ambery thing happening in the base. I mean, how amazing that this was his first perfume, and then after that he gave us L'Eau des Marocains, and then we also got Lone Star Memories. I mean, talk about an opening trio. I really, really adore this, and I love how it sort of seems to come to us via Youth Dew and Opium and those sorts of beautifully heavily resinous scents. Really nicely done. Really nicely done. Car Crew says, hope there's a Margiela replica on this list because those things are absolutely frightening. We're down to the final two. There will not be a Margiela. Okay. So this is the one that I thought needs to be The Exorcist when you mentioned The Exorcist, just because it references the devil in the name. And I suppose it is kind of exorcistish. And you do not need to riot because, of course, the king of goth himself, the goth prince, had to be represented here. From Uncle Serge, from Serge Lutens himself, we have got La Couche. It is it feminine? Yeah, La Couche du Diable. From 2019. When I saw that it was 2019, I thought, gosh, has this already been around for 5 years? It feels like it was yesterday that this was released. This could actually be Midsummer, says Mr. C. I never saw that either, and I have a lot of time for Florence Pugh. I bumped into Florence Pugh about a year ago at a restaurant. I love bumping into people whose work I actually admire. And I said, oh, excuse me, is it Florence Pugh? And she said, yes, yes. I said, oh, I really, really love your work. I've been watching so many of your films all the way from Lady Macbeth. If you haven't seen Lady Macbeth, watch Lady Macbeth. She was brilliant in it. And she just said, oh, that's lovely. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. And that was the end of my moment with Florence Pugh. But she was very nice. And I didn't know at the time, what movie was she working on then? But I remember afterwards thinking, if only I'd known she was working on it, I would have asked her something about it or said something. So if this is our Exorcist scent, was it Oppenheimer? Yes, 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 it would have been. It would have been Oppenheimer, which I'm very impressed with. I mean, she has a small but very, very important role in that movie, I think. Or Dune 2. Yeah, maybe I would have been less bothered about asking her about Dune 2. I probably would have been more interested in talking to her about Chris Nolan. Couche du Diable is really interesting. It's one of the more out there releases from Lutens we've had in a while. Because on the one hand, you think you can kind of dismiss it as a pretty straightforward sort of incensey, resinous scent, but then it throws these strange off notes like a weird strawberry cola thing. It spews up, if we can kind of continue the Exorcist analogy, unexpected facets and presents unexpected vistas. The Serge one is very fiery to my nose, says Spaced Out. It translates to the devil's diaper, says Omar. Yes, I think that's a sort of play on devil's nappy, devil's diaper. And couche is also sometimes used as bed in French. It's an older term, says Kelly. Okay. There is something fiery, but also sickly, sticky, sweety about it. I find it quite compellingly, interestingly bizarre. And finally, now this is kind of a bit of a naughty one, but also it's not a naughty one, because as you know, I don't like to include discontinued scents. But I was informed by you a little while ago, just very recently, when I was doing my Ask Me Anything video, I was informed by you that this one was coming back. And so I did my research and went straight to the source, and I have had it confirmed. that this is coming back. I don't know in exactly what form it's coming back, but what I have got here for you, the final perfume on the list from 2010, the original Absolue pour le Soir from Maison Francis Kurkdjian, which of course means that it's been composed by Francis Kurkdjian himself. I cannot wait. It compels you, says Power Connection. Yes, Couche du Diable compels you. The power of Uncle Serge compels you. I like what you did there. Brilliant. I love this perfume, and I was so saddened when it apparently went away, but it seems it is coming back. I know that as soon as any of you smell the new version, you will tell me what it's like. As soon as I can get my nose on the new version, I will be smelling it. I hope it's not too different from this glorious, glorious original. This is definitely a modern American Psycho, says Ronnie Eggyolk. See, when somebody said American Psycho, I did wonder about whether this would be a good one for American Psycho. Just because it's so showy and so flashy. But I also, you know, if anybody from the brands is watching this, you know, these associations with slasher movies and blood and gore, these associations are being made in the nicest possible way and with a great deal of affection. We don't actually think that Absolue pour le Soir should be worn by bloodthirsty psycho killers. You do get that, right? Or The Shining. It could be The Shining. I suppose it could be but somehow I'm just thinking American Psycho. I'm just thinking of the sort of high drama of that movie as well. The opulence, the drama, The Shining, says Alex. Yeah, can you imagine a cross between The Shining and American Psycho? Anyway, for those of you who never got a chance to smell Absolue pour le Soir, it's a really, really nicely done, purring, snuggle-worthy, nuzzly, animalic, resinous scent. I don't know what it's doing in the top, but whatever it's doing is brilliant because it creates this gorgeous lift. And then the honey plays into it as well. Probably some Immortelle in there too. I don't know. It's quite polarizing. Somebody that a relative who quite a few years ago now asked if we could go perfume shopping for a birthday present. So I took him out perfume shopping, and this was what he settled on. And I thought it suited him, but his partner didn't and doesn't like it on him very much. So then that kind of means that he feels he can't wear it very much. But I don't know. I think it's a shame. Fortunately for me, Madame Persolaise really, really loves this. And I have to be very careful with how much I wear it. I have a backup bottle of the original, but if the new one is close enough, then I will be able to be a little bit more liberal with my Absolue pour le Soir. A crossover between Shining and American Psycho, says Mr. C. Over the top drama. Try again. Over the top drama, killing mystery, as in the original Scream. Okay, fine. Misery, says Ilias. He is wearing and drives her crazy. Ugh, that was a good film as well, wasn't it? Okay. And what about Ganymede for some sci-fi horror? That's a good one. I could see Ganymede working. Okay, we are done for this one. Whatever you choose to do for Halloween, I hope you have fun. I hope you enjoy the dressing up and the tapping into your darker side. Thank you very much for the truly superb film suggestions. I could not have come up with better ones myself. Thank you for the laughs. Watch the Suspiria remake, says Gavin. I will do my very best. I need to do some film viewing. Stay tuned to social media for info about new videos heading your way soon. But until next time, be good. See you. Bye.